What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Essential Scares podcast, the only show that dares to ask the question, is it essential? I am your host, Corbin, and with me today, as always, is Alan.
Good evening.
And newly minted Bert.
Rar.xd, dude. I wasn't expecting the Bert jokes to come to the podcast, but we're here for it.
We
Wow.
got an aging show for you today. We'll be talking about Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, the 2007 classic. But first, Bert has a spoiler warning.
I do. This will serve as your first one and only spoiler warning for the cult classic, AVP Requiem. If you do not want AVP Requiem spoiled for you, please skip the time code provided in our show notes or description for our essential spoiler-free discussion. Presented without comment, some of the conversation that we had while I was watching AVP Requiem last night. This movie is immediately better. That's from me. Corbin responds with, within the first 10 to 15 minutes, what's up? You could probably rate this movie right now, honestly. I'm going to skip the rating I said, because that would be a spoiler. But this was a double-hearted comment, was nothing more, but most importantly, nothing less. Corbin.
Oh,
Alan, shit, fuck.
I was about to say, Corbin, tell us about this movie.
yeah.
Oh.
All right, so the movie ends, okay? She's left in Antarctica. The predators go away, and immediately bad things start to happen when the pred alien shows up to just kill everybody on the ship. Word gets back to main Predator HQ that there's a problem, so they send an experienced hunter this time to actually take care of the problem. Now, humans naturally run into the Predator and pred alien and its litany of facehuggers that have been released upon a small Colorado town. And right off the bat, you see a little kid get chest bursted. And frankly, it was more than I didn't expect it, and I was very happy to see it. But the Predator shows up to do Predator things and do exactly what it's supposed to do and hunt everything down. There is attempts at stories with our human characters, but really they're there just to become sacrificial lambs, to become aliens with which we can see actual gore happen in this film compared to the previous film. And frankly, it's exactly what you wanted it to be. Let's open it from there. This is so astoundingly better. It's hilarious.
I cannot believe that Rickety Cricket is in this movie.
Oh my god, yes.
Yep.
For like 10 minutes. And immediately gets murdered. It's so good.
Well, no, he doesn't get immediately murdered. He's the asshole boss, and then you actually see him again, and you're like, "There's no way he's still alive," but he is, and then he's not.
How is he an asshole boss? He's just like, "Hey,
he's just
go
a
do
regular
your job.
pizza place boss." Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "Go do your job, and please wear the hat. It's part of your uniform."
Yep.
He's not even mean about it.
I worked as a pizza place employee. All bosses at there are assholes. Just default.
That's the only way that you get that high up at a pizza.
100%. You got to climb the pizza charts, and that's how you do it.
Climb the pizza charts.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Is the main character a felon? Is that the implication?
Well, he was only in jail for 3 years. I don't think that's felony level, right?
That's a felony level. Jail time.
Jail
3
time
years
is a lot of misdemeanor time in jail for that amount.
So we know what he did, right? He had a B&E that he felt was justified, and then he went to jail for 3 years.
Yeah, so he definitely was a felon with a B&E.
Yeah. No, there you go. Then yeah, you would know, I guess.
I would
question about him actually.
About him? Yeah.
Sure.
About my breakings and enterings.
Yes, we'll get to that. Don't you worry. Please incriminate yourself, Bobby. You don't have a right to an attorney. How did this guy have money to immediately go to breakfast, immediately go to a bar, and just start drinking when he's been in jail for 3 years?
Well, you don't lose all your money just
I know you don't, but where? I don't know. It just seemed weird to me.
So technically, you do make money in a prison.
What,
Granted,
17 cents
yeah,
an hour?
granted, it is essentially slave labor, but you do get to have that money when you get out of prison. So he had like $200.
I guess.
That's all. You didn't see him spending that much, and he's at
it is
a small
town in 2004. So
And yeah, he went back to his old small town. Most people seem to be fine with him, so he probably got a few drinks on the house. Like,
welcome back.
oh, you're back.
Yeah.
Whatever happened? Don't worry about it.
It was a town where everybody knew his name.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they were all fine with buying him the whiskey, but not for giving him a job.
No, absolutely
It's
not.
wild to me how many pregnant people are in
A lot
this
of pregnant
movie.
people.
And the fact that
they
this is like a
definitely
small
played
town,
that gag like 3 times.
Yes.
No.
a small town in Colorado that also has a hospital, but also the United States military isn't worried about nuking it because nobody's going to remember it. So that means that this town is like fully encapsulated, and the U.S. military somehow knows that. It's a big plot hole in this movie, but you don't think about it until the credits are rolling.
Yeah. Also, they get like fully mobilized National Guard there within like no actual time.
Yeah.
Well, they all live right there, so.
Oh, there we go. That's the part I forgot.
The depot is right there, man.
Though that is my favorite gag of the whole movie, because they're like, oh, we need weapons, and we need it now, right? I wrote it down because they're breaking it. They have to go to break into like to the hunting store, right?
To the Ace
guns.
warehouse,
yeah. And they say, one guy says, the National Guard will be here soon, and then they say, not soon enough. And then the next shot is the National Guard rolling into town. And it's like, I think that was soon enough. They're there right now.
Now, they immediately got murked the second that they were trying to do something, but they were there at least.
Yeah, exactly.
So the guns do work against the aliens. That's what we've learned. Because in the last movie, they weren't really working against the aliens, right?
They didn't really
I think
have
everybody in the last
chance
movie was
to
just
shoot.
they were just really bad at guns.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, at
no,
least this-
I guess Scottish Dad did shoot the deagle at one of the facehuggers. So
He probably popped a couple of them because he fired like 6 shots before he got face hugged. So he probably
But he just shot the same guy like over and over.
So is the Predolin, which is we're going to call it the Predolin.
Predolin. I like this.
I don't like that.
No, it's too late. It's the Predolin now. So the Predolin does the Predolin count as a queen?
So that is a very interesting thing that they did just for this movie.
Well, because they had to explain why. Because there's only so many.
Had to get more.
Yeah.
That
like
because
it can impregnate like
had
4 of them. Like
because they only had the facehuggers from the ship.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Can we just talk about
honestly like I'm okay with that because one of the problems with the last movie was like where are all these aliens coming from, and in this one like at least did explain like this is where the aliens
don't worry,
from.
it's where are all these aliens coming from? All the pregnant people that are just getting brutally murdered during this movie.
Yeah,
the amount of dead children and pregnant women that die in this movie is insane. More than 2. That's like.
Well, I mean, there's
already like a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably 4, because there's the girl in the diner, then there's the pregnancy ward in the hospital itself, and there's at least 2 women
there
in
were
there.
2 or 3 in there, and then
there's 3. There's 3 that they show for sure.
Yeah, it's wild. That scene of the alien like shooting the spawn is it. This movie not only actually gave us true gore. It gave us horror, like actually, like that. Those sequences, specifically with the pregnant women, are genuinely scary, like awful, disgusting, and just it's the get under your skin, like this bothers me a lot type of horror, and it's like finally,
it's a bad movie that does everything right, because at the end of the day,
that's a good way to describe
this. It's a bad movie that does everything right, like because it's like you're not there for the plot. You don't give a shit about the plot. I don't care about these people getting out of town. You know how many times we've seen a movie of get out of town? Boring.
I I think they even understand that when they were writing the film, because near the very end, Jess, the love interest for our the younger brother,
Dude,
just gets
I love that.
brutally
Amazing.
murdered.
And
It's one of my favorite shots of the whole movie.
and the predator and the
so
predator just
good.
looks at her disappointed, and then it keeps going and fighting like he
At
didn't
least he
even
got
mean to
those
do
two
it.
aliens on the way.
Yeah.
Exactly. He did his job. He's like, well,
It was an accident.
She genuinely ran into it. Like,
Yeah, he would not have killed her, right? She's unarmed. I mean, she's just running away.
Well, and
Yeah.
she had in all honesty, again, it's one of those freaky accidents because she was running away from the alien that was killing Cricket, right?
Yeah.
At the time. So like she was doing everything was like everybody was making the right moves here, right?
except the sheriff. He made the wrong move.
Yeah, I mean,
No, he made objectively the right call. It's insane. It is a crazy person's fantasy to think that yes, the U.S. military is going to nuke us, and instead we should go
But
go
Bobby,
on top of the hospital.
She was in the army, though. Don't you
it's
know?
only
She knows
yeah,
these things.
That's what makes it funny is that like she just got back from her tour, right? So it's 2000.
Literally
it's
that
2000
day.
It's 2004, right?
So yeah,
Um,
she's in the surge of Iraq.
Exactly. She
in the
probably
thick of it.
She probably went, because of 9/11. Like that's this character,
Mhm.
and she's back for 30 hours right before the aliens come, and she immediately assumes that the army that she just left is going to nuke this small American
That she's a
town.
proud veteran of, right? Like,
Yeah, like she never says that this is like a bad thing or something. Like she couldn't believe. She's just like, this is what's gonna happen.
yeah,
And I know because I was there 2 days ago.
yeah, like she's not a disenfranchised vet. Like it's just like, oh no, yeah, we did this all the time in Iraq. We killed civilians like a lot. We did it like a lot. We murdered, we straight up murdered babies.
They'll definitely just do that here too.
Yeah.
Of course.
She was part of that. Yeah, no, that's really dark and actually sad. So never mind.
Anyway, moving on.
But no, like, well, and the fucking like, they barely touch on the fact that like her husband, the hot guy, one of the hot boys from True Blood, the hot shifter boy from True Blood, just gets absolutely murked. And they talk about it for like 2 seconds, and then like they don't ever mention it again. Like they very clearly had a really good relationship. He's a super supportive husband. Like they made him that guy just to kill him because he was like he's a hot boy from True Blood. But like, oh my god, and like I know why they had the boy get chest bursted in the beginning because you're thinking, oh shit, the daughter's not going to make it. Like, there's no way this daughter's
it sets the tone for the whole movie. Yeah,
anybody can go.
Great way to set the tone.
It's very smart. It's a very smart moment. It's very fucked up, and it's like the same thing with like Crimes of the Future. Like one of the things that people just don't like about movies like this, unless you're sick freaks like us, is the boy murders. And the amount of boy murder that we had to endure this time was shocking, appalling. In all honesty, I could use some more of it.
Look, we called it back in Fear Street 78. We needed more child murder. Well, look at what we got. We got more children murdered.
that is true.
It's just it's the final frontier of horror shock value because you never see it coming, right? Like, and you're always going to be fucked up about it too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
it works every time.
Absolutely, yeah. And they even they push it just that one step further, even with just the opening scene, because not only is the kid killed, but he watches his dad die first, and then he dies. Like, it is. I wrote that as a note. It's like, oh, this movie. One of the things that this movie does really well is that it doesn't really pull any punches. Like anybody could die at any time, and even though there are a surprising number of main characters that are alive at the end of the movie, they kill enough of them that it's like, oh, anything could happen here. And
the ensemble
they
cast
make that obvious
so big.
immediately. Yeah, exactly.
But and they die at such a like
it's a great pacing of
and
death.
consistent pick. That like fucking when the jerk ex-boyfriend gets his face melted off.
Yeah,
it's like oh fuck, that's so fucking gross. And the kills are like creative enough. Right, and they're fast enough, and they're interesting enough. Like
the two stoners who get both of their heads shot off by the Predator. Like, the moment you saw the second gun, you're like, well, this just has to be, there has to be a double death somewhere. And they wait long enough for you. They wait long enough for you to go, to have kind of forgotten about it, because there's been plenty of other crazy shit happening between that point and then, and then you get it, and it's so good. It's so good.
Again, the movie is it's a demolition derby movie, right? It's demolition derby.
It absolutely is.
It is not elevated, but god damn it, is it fun? Like,
well, and what's interesting too is I was looking this up a little bit before. The theatrical cut versus the unrated cut, which is what we watched. These are two very different experiences.
Oh, are they?
And and I think that's part of why when I'm watching, I have a note where I'm like, I don't remember this movie being this interesting, gory, anything. Because the last time I watched this was 2007 when I was 15 years old, maybe 14, depending on when it came out in the year. Like,
I have not watched the theatrical cut since we went to the theater. Like, I saw it in the theaters one time.
Was it R?
Watched the theatrical cut. Oh,
theater?
Yeah, it was still R.
Okay.
And then as soon as it was on DVD, the unrated cut was on there. And like, I've only ever watched that version, and like, I couldn't even tell you honestly what was different, except I know that when Jesse is shurikened to the wall in the unrated cut, they show like her whole body like slip down, and they don't show that in the theatrical cut.
I have to imagine the kid chest burst probably is not shown in the same extent. In the theatrical cut?
They probably start it, and then
they don't finish it. There's no way.
Cut, and there's just an implication.
Well, I mean, there's the sheer amount of heads that get exploded in this film. Those are probably all tamed down or cutaways. Like, they maybe I would imagine they probably get away with like the double shot on the stoners, because that's a really cool shot, and
it's in 3D. It's in like the infrared vision for the most part.
Exactly. Right? So I feel like that might make a cut, but there's so many like pops that probably
I mean, it's right. There's really no point to not watch the unrated version, right? Because the theatrical cut, it's like watching the theatrical cut of Blade Runner. What the fuck is even the point? Like, the worst movie because of it. Like, so.
Can we talk?
We can.
About how cool the Predator whip is.
I love the whip.
Yeah,
it's
pretty cool.
Awesome.
It's incredible.
Predator spear is awesome. Predator whip, way better. It's just better. Like.
I wish we got more of it. He only killed like 2 aliens with the whip, and it's like, I could have seen more of the whip.
And on a contrary side of this, how dumb is the Predalin's like design? I do not like it. I think it is ugly and bad, to be completely honest with you guys.
I don't know that
basically, this is what he looks like. Even in the comic, like, he just kind of looks like that. It's just big and dumb.
So I have a question then for the general lore of Aliens versus Predator. Corbin, I'm going to consult you specifically, because I know Bobby won't know.
The Lore Master.
Has there been Pred aliens before this experience?
Predilins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So they're like a known quantity. Like, this is a thing that occurs occasionally.
Yes, this was not like the creation of the Pred alien. And there were Pred alien queens at some point. I forget how it worked.
And why are you saying it like that?
But the most common Pred alien is this one. Or the most, obviously the most famous is this one.
Predilins.
It sounds like a medication.
It does sound
do you want to be engorged with 10 little chest bursters? Take Predilin.
Contact your consulting physician today.
Yeah, side effects may include chest bursting. Predilin.
Radical heartburn.
Yeah, for a happier tomorrow.
It looks like
sponsored by Wayland Yutani.
First, oh my god. The first Pred alien was in a comic in 1995. So
okay.
It's been around for
my favorite, again, one of my favorite bits is at the end of this movie. It's like, yada 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 yada. Don't you think, Miss Yutani?
Oh my God, it's her.
Yeah,
the one side of Wayland Yutani we never knew about.
Yeah,
Yutani.
It's just enough to tie it into the greater Alien vs Predator canon.
It
without
feels so
like
Resident Evil.
ham fisting, Yutani into the whole movie.
Well, this came out after Iron Man, right?
This came out the year before Iron Man.
Oh, okay. So it felt to me more like anything else, like I'm putting a team together.
Finale,
yeah. I'm putting a team together. Shit, like
they were putting a team together.
yeah.
And that's where the shitty Predators movie came out.
No, Predators
seen that.
is good. The Predator is bad.
That's the most recent one besides Prey, right?
Yes.
Oh, Predators is the
Predators
one with
is the
Adrian
one.
Brody.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're on the hunting plane.
Yeah, where they get they're all like actual criminals that like they get brought in for. It's very fun time. Because it's like when Dick Cheney killed his friend or shot his friend in the face because of the quail hunting.
Yeah, that was an accident, Bobby.
They're all heads of Predator State that are
Yeah.
We've barely talked about our felon main character here, but the dude just has like some great lines.
Is he the main character?
It's kind of ambiguous between him and his brother.
There are probably as many POV scenes from felon main characters' point of view. Dallas, I think his name was.
That's correct. Yeah.
As there are from Wolf's point of view, the Predator. Like he is arguably the main character. He just speak one line.
His name is Wolf.
Yeah, his name is Wolf.
Oh God. What about the other two that die immediately? What are their names?
I could look it up, but I don't know. But that's fair.
They have names.
Yeah, they're out there.
When they're going into the hunting store, Dallas says a line that I paused the movie and started laughing. He goes, "We're not going to make it out of town without weapons, dickhead. Shut up, Dale. You're too stupid to talk."
Yeah.
Just like it's so good. It's so corny and campy, but it's so good.
My favorite part about that, like those two lines back to back, is that they so clearly were not said back to back. Like he definitely said one line, and then they cut, and then they're like, "Okay, now say this other part, and we'll pick one." And then in post, they're like, "Well, let's just do both."
Honestly, I like both of these. Yeah,
they're just sitting there like, I really can't pick between these.
I just can't choose.
No,
let's just put them together.
And that's why this movie. One of the other things I texted you guys last night. It's like somebody wrote an AVP creepypasta, and it's shit that totally gives you that. Where it's just like that. There's no character that's clearly a main character, but one character who's clearly supposed to be the narrator, and it's Dallas or Dale or the fuck his name is. But clearly isn't the main character because no one gives a fuck. There's these great evils that are fighting, and one's clear. Like they keep doing this where they keep making the Predator not like kind of a good guy, but they have to remind you that the Predator is still evil. So every so often the Predator will just murder a man. For
no reason.
Just standing there, he has a gun in his hand. It's like
Well, it's kind of like it's like the Warhammer problem, right? I mean, it's like the Tyranids are really, really bad, but they're all mindless. So somebody, even if another alien is fighting them, like they just have to be the good guy because at least they can think.
But then actually to your point, Alan, that scene with the guy with the guns, like who speaks like Patrick, tell your daughter to shut up, tell her to shut the fuck up, and then the Predator shoots and kills him, and then lets what is the woman's name?
Kelly.
Lets Kelly take the gun and run away with it.
She doesn't take the gun. No. She goes to reach for it. He's got the sight on it.
He's got the sight on the gun. Yeah. And then she runs away, and then he finishes healing himself.
Yeah. Injecting himself with Look, you love it. You love it when they inject themselves and scream. It's great.
It's my favorite part.
It's so good.
Love it.
Also, the honor duel at the end, also good. I like that. Takes off the mask. Like, if we're going to do this, let's do this. Love that.
It's good. It's very good. The fact that, he gets, again, perfect AVP creepypasta, the narrator, the writer, fill-in narrator character gets the space alien gun.
It's great.
It's very funny.
I'm trying! I don't know how to use this space alien gun that works somehow the same way a super soaker does.
My favorite thing about the alien gun is that the Predator gun is he was clearly not actually shooting it. He just pumped it to charge, and then it would just charge up, and then it just went off every time it fully charged.
Point and shoot.
Funny, imagine that's you, right? And you're like, okay, I have to keep this charged because aliens are coming. but I can't choose when to fire it. So you just like always like looking to make sure you don't like kill somebody on accident or like shoot the wrong way because you know it's gonna go off. It's very silly.
It's this that and that's the beauty of this movie is everything about this is incredibly
very silly.
It's a very silly film. Yeah.
I also the aliens in general,
Yeah,
just did like it was great. There was it seemed like there was a good amount of like mix of CGI and actual people in alien xenomorph costumes, like because that's the thing. I think I've seen bits and pieces of Alien Covenant, and it's it's CGI of 2000 what 17, 18 that
And
movie
also
came
keep in
out.
mind, Alien Covenant's just one alien in that movie.
But
that's
my
not
point
true.
is
I thought it was just the one big one.
In Covenant.
Yeah.
That's the newest. That's the newest one.
yeah.
Isn't it? Oh wait, what am I thinking of? No, I'm thinking.
There are hordes of aliens in that movie.
I'm thinking of Prometheus.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
sorry,
just like in this, you get those
Sorry.
like the practical effects side of it. It's like I mean, specifically like near the end when they're going through the hospital. I mean, there are some special effects, obviously, them getting chopped up, but when they're on the roof scene, like a lot of those guys, they're practical effects, and it just immediately looks so much like more crisp and better. And it does a lot of it does a lot of things right that I just didn't expect this movie to do right at all coming into it.
Well, this is a movie I think that absolutely understood the assignment, right? Like,
Yes.
it knew
Yeah.
what it was, and this movie was more like the comics and games in the sense that like AVP as a concept is very silly, and you just have to go that way. You just have to go
Fully
for it,
embrace
I mean, like the most famous AVP storyline is about that human that gets inducted into the Predator Society, and she has to learn how to speak Predator, and then they just hunt aliens all the time. This is a very silly concept, right? So you just have to go down this route.
I'm sorry, Alien versus Predator versus Ash from the Evil Dead. That's the most famous of all of them. Let's be honest.
No, it's not the most famous, but it is the silliest.
That is in line. That is in line with the silly factor we're talking. How different, realistically, how much more different is that than what Corbin just said about this person, like learning the Predator language?
Well, I like Ash from the Evil Dead more, so that's why.
That's entirely
What
fair.
about when they did Alien versus Predator versus Batman?
Oh, great! AVP Batman is such a good comic book, though. I love it.
It's
'Cause, like,
actually very.
it's really fun. It's very fun. Yeah,
Is there an AVP with G.I. Joe? Am I misremembering
I'm sure
that?
there is. I'm sure
probably.
there
I
is.
feel like that would work.
They fight everybody. Yeah, there should be. If there isn't, there should be. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Like imagine Storm Shadow like fighting a Predator one-on-one. That's that it sells itself. It sells
I
itself.
feel like GI Joe is too PG though.
There have
Not
been
the
some
comics.
pretty G.I. Joe can go because there was G.I. Joe versus Transformers and that shit got wild.
Jesus Christ.
We're nerds, Bobby.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes when we say these things out loud, it makes me feel
Okay, do you want to
bad.
know how much of a nerd Corbin and I are?
I know.
No. I don't know that you do know. We went to BotCon as children in Chicago. It
Yeah,
was
that-
wonderful.
that
We're
sounds
on
right.
the DVD of the Transformers Gen 1 special features. You can see us briefly. That's how nerdy we are.
I believe you. I
Yeah.
believe you. It's fine, man. I'm just
Yeah.
saying GI
Embrace it.
Joe versus Transformers goes off, right? Like, come on, man.
It was World War II. It was like the perfect combo. It was like, it was classic. You know,
Come on. Like,
You're not going to talk us down off of this.
And here's the thing, right? Like
so,
AVP.
so
okay.
GI Joe has not fought the Predator, but Archie has. So that there you go.
What? Are you kidding me?
Archie versus Predator. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh my god, I need to see this Archie versus Predator.
It's a 4-part miniseries, which is how all Predator versus or AVP. They're all just miniseries.
That's all you need. You don't need. I mean, this movie is a tight 90 to 100
This
minutes.
is an hour 45 minutes. Yeah.
This is
Perfect.
amazing. Archie versus Predator 2.
Yeah. The only long-running series they ever did at AVP that I can remember was when they did Alien versus Predator versus Prometheus, and it was those three. It was 4 comics that were running side by side, and Alien 1 and Predator 1, Prometheus, and then AVP, and they all like crossed over constantly. It was very cool. There's only like 20 issues, but
Archie. Okay, so there's actually 2 series. Archie has fought the Predator twice, a 4-part and a
Wow.
5-part run.
I love that. 9 issues of greatness.
9 issues of Archie versus Predator.
Yo, the cover of Archie vs. Predator 2 goes fucking hard in the paint, man.
Yeah. So I guess all of this giant diatribe, to get this back to podcast land, is to say this concept is incredibly silly. And where Paul Wes Anderson fucked up by trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do at AVP. AVP Requiem goes on to say, nah, this shit's goofy. Let's goof around with it a little bit. And they do. And they it's very, very gross. It's very, very wet. There's a scene where you think your best friends are gonna die. The brother's gonna die because they're in the sewer. But they don't die. They just dig through shit and then leave. That's fun.
And they didn't even need to because the keys weren't even in the shit.
You know what they don't? You know what they don't do in this movie though? That I'm just realizing they don't kill the dog. The dog lives.
Kill the dog. Yeah, that's true.
Lives.
That was the one. That was the one more step that they could have gone for on the shock value list. They could have killed that dog. They could have made a dog alien, which I'm sure we've seen before. Alien 3 is a dog alien. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. So they could have done that. Right? And they instead said, nah. And in all honesty, I think I like them for that because it shows that they're choosing. They're making choices of who with
conscious
choices. They're not just killing everybody.
Yeah, they're not just saying fuck it, right? They made a call there because they specifically showed the dog run away in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
They make
that you
that
never
choice.
See or hear that dog again.
No,
which implies he was probably blown up by the nuke.
Well, who knows? Or the dog joined a pack of wolves.
Oh, definitely possible. Or maybe what if the dog had like a bunker?
What if the dog had a bunker? What if the dog pulled the wolf predator from the wreckage, nursed its wounds, and then had to learn the predator language?
And then we have Alien versus Predator versus dog.
Just imagining the dog with the predator mask.
An honorary predator.
That'd be amazing.
Archie Comics is gonna give it a 15-part run.
Yeah. Oh man! And at the end, the dog will just retire. He'll never die.
No,
absolutely not.
Wolf. He'll have to face Wolf in combat to retire, and he'll win.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But speaking of awesome ideas, Archie Comics hire us for writing. How would you rate this bad boy?
That's a really good question. Now, I'm gonna Uno reverse card you. How would I even do that? I don't understand.
That's a great question. So we rate films on this dear podcast on a scale of 0 to 5 with half points allowed. So you might be thinking, so what if I want to give this a respectable 6.25? Well, that would be wrong for 2 reasons. 6 is outside the scales, and we don't do quarter points. But if I wanted to give it a 4.5, that's you can do that. Yeah.
Do you think that would be a respectable score for this movie? 4.5.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
But it was your example.
You did go there.
Yeah. Well, given that Corbin gave the original AVP a 4 out of 5, I was just going off of your metric.
I wonder what I gave this movie originally.
Ooh, this is good on air research. Yeah. I love this.
Yeah. Let's check my pre-critical scoring for this.
And
movie.
then we'll have Corbin go first. So this is all part of Corbin's
absolutely.
Video.
I love it.
Okay.
He desperately types.
All right. So I similar to last week, right? I've watched this movie so many times, right? I love AVP 2, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, as it is known. And similar to last week, in my pre-critic days, I gave this movie a pretty inflated score. I gave everything an inflated score back then because it was just, it was very nonchalant. It didn't really matter. It was like I rated movies the same way that people rate games on Steam. It was like a 0 or a 10. That's all that mattered. And what I will give myself credit for is that I did have this movie rated higher than the previous movie because I've always preferred this movie, and that is actually a contentious opinion in Alien vs. Predator fandom.
How? In what world?
This movie is frequently put at the bottom of the list, right next to Alien Resurrection. Do with that information what you will.
AVP's rated above this?
Yeah, almost always the original AVP is rated.
That movie is so
That's
dog
fucking
ass,
crazy.
dude.
Yeah. So, in my olden days, I have rated this movie on Letterboxd a perfect 5 out of 5. And now, for the record, I have no regrets. But I will not be rating it a 5 out of 5 today. Because, we kind of glossed over it, but the movie does have some problems. Nothing that egregious. And last week, Alan, what did I give Alien vs. Predator? Real quick.
You gave it a 2.
I gave it a 2. So
Yep.
I wish I could say that I think this movie is twice as good as Alien vs. Predator. I wish I could say that because I think that is an appropriate turn of phrase, but a 4 out of 5 feels egregious. So
The movie that we gave a 4 out of 5, dude. Just use your head.
So I am instead going to follow my head, speak logically, and I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5.
What the fuck, dude?
Total
That is a
blast.
score.
It does everything it needs to do. I love it. But not quite into the 4 territory.
I want to go next.
Okay.
I came in here with a 2.5 to 3 written down, and it has jumped up a half point throughout the course of this discussion. So I'm at 3.5 as well.
Yep.
I think that this movie, I sat down and watched this Saturday morning before I drove up to see these two guys for Bobby's birthday. That's how I spent my morning. It was great. Had a blast. I just couldn't believe how much fun I was having watching this film. And it made me mad in some ways because I was like, every time I've thought, I want to watch Alien versus Predator, I've watched Alien versus Predator. I should have been watching Aliens versus Predator Requiem because it is just everything you want in this type of franchise. It's silly. It's dumb. There's no they try to do different plot points and different love interests. They try. None of it actually works. None of it matters. You're there to watch a predator murder aliens in droves. And that is what this movie gives you in full gory detail. So I came in here ready to give it a 3. We bumped it to a 3.5 during the discussion.
For the record, I have 3 out of 5 written on my notes, and I also bumped up during the discussion.
I'm going to tell you guys what you already know, what your podcast listeners do not know. And I will say this, as much as I enjoyed our discussion and had a great time with it, my mind was not changed. So last week when we discussed, I said I gave AVP a 1.5 out of 5 for fear that giving it a 2 would make me have to rate AVP Requiem a 2. And I stand by that 1.5. That movie has not set well with me since. That being said, AVP Requiem is not getting a 2. It is giving the score that it deserves. Now, there was a precursor there where I said it's nothing more, but most importantly, nothing less. This movie is a quintessential 2.5 out of 5. It is a deeply flawed movie that you go, oh fuck, I'd watch that again a million times. Right? Is it a good movie? No. Is it a bad movie? Almost. But it is so fun that you hold on to it. So yeah, no, it's a 2.5 out of 5, but it's a great time. It's wonderful. It's very.
Wait,
stupid.
Bobby, you're telling me that after a nuclear warhead goes off, there's going to be people in any proximity to a town? That's shocking. That's such a great idea. Oh my gosh.
It's my favorite thing is how they pretend like a controlled nuclear blast wouldn't ask. There would be nobody who's asked questions. Like, imagine being like, "Oh my God, there was an earthquake. I have to go see my family who lives in small town Colorado." And then they go there, and it's like, "This is just a fucking crater. What happened?" Like
a crater and a bunch of fallout, and now all of that forest is radioactive for the next 100 years.
No,
why?
see, you don't understand. Okay, that wouldn't happen. Okay, because they use what's called a tactical nuke. Okay, and it creates a very small controlled blast with no after effects. Right?
Have you never got a 25 kill streak in Call of Duty, dude?
Yeah, you can just drop that on one small town, and that's it.
It's called Nukeville or whatever the fuck it's called. Nuketown.
Nuketown.
Yeah. Idiot. You fuck.
Nukeville.
You're weak. You're a noob. You're N00B. That's right. That's right. I'm pulling all the mid to late 2000s.
Oh god. Oh well, rating movies isn't the only thing we do here. We also discuss whether or not movies are essential to horror as a whole. Now, if you skipped ahead to this portion, as a reminder, this is spoiler free. And if you did skip ahead, our scores so far are a 3.5 from myself and from Alan, and a 2.5 from Bobby. Now, before we jump into it, a reminder that last week, Bobby and me gave Alien vs. Predator, the first one, yes, on the essentiality score. And Alan said no. Everybody gave it a lower score. You've been around for long enough to know that scores are not a direct correlation to whether or not a movie may be essential. And so, keeping that in mind, boys, is Aliens vs. Predator Requiem essential to horror? Alan?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. I said no last week, and one of the quintessential parts of why I said no is I thought that Alien vs. Predator was less than the sum of its parts. I thought that it did not do enough with its IP, with what it had, to be something that I think hits the essentiality. Requiem is the exact opposite of that. It is more than the sum of its parts. It understood the assignment. It said, this is what this franchise actually is. So yes, I think this one is essential. To me, when I think of these movies from now on, this is the one that I'm going to think of, period. Because it actually takes what you want out of these two franchises coming together and gives it to you in spades. You can't ask for more. The only way you're going to get better out of this type of franchise is delving into the comics. And there's plenty of great ones out there that are probably essential in their own media subcategories and all that jazz. But when it comes to our film adaptation, I'd watch it. I'd read it. It's probably great. It'd be a tough challenge for the Predator to deal with Casper, but that's neither here nor there.
He is a ghost.
Exactly. I think it just...
Damn it.
Just start making them up and then look for it after.
Yes, that's
100%.
Yeah. Surely.
Just say it. This has to be.
That's the most fucked up thing. I might be right about 50% of the time.
Archie has one, how out there is it that Casper has one? Come on. But yes, I think this absolutely stands as an essential bit, 100%.
Okay.
Pale Kids versus Predator.
Garbage Pail Kids versus Predator.
Garbage Pail Kids, Alien versus Predator. Okay, so they do have an AVP card.
Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh my god! Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll find anything, with the power of fan art. Bobby, how do you feel about Alien versus Predator Requiem?
See, I'm gonna be honest. It's ones like these that hurt the most. Because the answer to this question is obvious. No. People forget this movie exists all the time. They just don't remember it. It has largely been left to fandom and the dustbin of history. It's fun. It is so fun. And it's the AVP we should have gotten. But unfortunately, it's not the AVP we got. And history only remembers the winners. And AVP Requiem is unfortunately an L7 loser. So for me, the answer is no. AVP Requiem is not. It is not the garbage kids versus Predator that I was hoping it would be.
Yeah. So I think for me, speaking about horror as a whole, and we've talked about this before with sequels, right? Where it's like hard to imagine that, like, there's not a lot of sequels that are essential, right? And I think, when you have a really long running series, you probably get there a few times. Like, I think there's probably 2 Predator movies that are essential. Probably, at least, 2 or 3 Alien movies. Like, but these are franchises with a lot of entries, right? And maybe if they made a new AVP now, I could see it happening. And, both franchises are owned by the House of Mouse, so it would be super cool if we got one. But I think that, unfortunately, this one doesn't do anything for horror. I think that's the issue. And I love it. I love this movie a lot, right? I'd give it, all the praise. I would recommend it to anybody, but it is a movie that is not even considered essential by its own fan base, I would say, as a whole, right? And it performed worse critically. It performed worse in the box office. Like, everything about this movie has kind of been forgotten to the annals of time, with the exception of when Blu-ray first came out, and this was a highly rated disc for showing off blacks. So there was like this very short period of time where everybody was like, "Oh, you should probably buy Alien vs. Predator Requiem because it looks amazing." And since then, that's it. That was like the last time it was culturally relevant, and that was 13 years ago, and it probably isn't going to happen again. I love Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, but I don't think it's essential.
But that brings up a very yeah. Either Alan is the king of essentiality, or Alan is lost the plot.
Equally
but
possible.
there's a question that still needs to be asked.
You have one question.
Is AVP the franchise essential? Actually, I'm not sure, right? Should we do this now, or should we wait till we get done with all of the Alien and all of the Predator movies?
Yeah, so because it's kind of like one big franchise, right? I'm comfortable holding on that.
Okay. So we'll touch back on that. I think that's fair. Yeah. We have to include these in both our Predator and our Alien franchises, but I think that's fair. I like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of taking the coward's way out and running away from whether or not we think these 2 movies are essential, where are your handles? Where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Corbangarang or at Bulgers and Bourbon, where I talk about Warhammer. What have I been up to lately? I have been playing the Diablo 4 beta. It was this past weekend as of recording, and it is this current weekend as of release. And I'm definitely playing it both weekends. I chose to play Barbarian, which was my very first Diablo class ever, and I went with a 2-handed Rend build, which is very, very fun. I'm loving it. It's exactly the blend of Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 that we were expecting and looking forward to, with a lot of new stuff, a lot of persistent world and other players around, stuff like that. It's cool. I like it a lot. Besides that, I am finishing up some models in Warhammer for Adepticon. If you're listening to this on day of release, I am competing today, the Saturday of Adepticon, in my first legitimate tournament for Age of Sigmar, playing my Night Haunt, and I'm very, very excited. And this event will determine where I go with my Age of Sigmar career.
The jumping off point or the end?
Yeah, I competed one other time locally with Night Haunt as well, and that was a blast. It was good enough to make me want to do like big leagues. So this is like 4 or 5 rounds
Serious
in one
tournament.
day. It's pretty legit. So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best. But that's it. So at Corbangering, at Boulders and Bourbon, please and thank you.
You can find me at twitch.tv/theredweenie. All of my relevant socials are there, although I am highly inactive on everything. This is the most I ever I with people besides our Discord. What have I been up to? We did Destiny. I played a game of Warhammer 40K. I won. And
Resoundingly.
Our
Imagine
local
losing.
tournament. When you play Leagues of Votan, it's pretty hard. I turned 30.
True.
Day of release last episode I turned 30, so I've been 30 for like a couple days now. Actually no, before day of release I turned 30. I turned 30 last Thursday the 16th.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. I got to see my Alan got to drive down from Indiana, the state where nothing lives and everything dies. And I've quoted him and his wife both telling me that I have the best guest bed he's ever slept on. So eat your heart out,
He's
Corbin.
gonna hold on to that.
Forever.
He will.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been really good. Life's all looking up Millhouse. So I'm enjoying myself. So yeah, twitch.tv/threadweenie. We'll probably be streaming somewhat consistently. If I'm not streaming Destiny, chances are I'll also be streaming Diablo because when the open beta comes out, I'm going to be playing my favorite class and the class I started out with, the Necromancer. So
nice. Yeah. You can find me at a Seal Punter just about anywhere. I'm definitely going to be hopping into that beta. The real question for me, though, is what do I play as? Because I think the first class I played as was a Necromancer. It was either Necromancer or Barbarian. I don't remember which, though, to be honest with you. I think it was Necro. So I'm probably going to go that because it's Necromancer. It's cool as hell. You want to have a big old bunch of skeletons behind you?
Yes.
Be a Necromancer. Exactly. It's cool.
Look at all
skeleton
the skulls.
Mages.
All the skulls
everywhere. There's skulls for the skull throat, man. It's so fun.
Wait.
But yeah, I haven't been up to a whole lot. Drove up, saw these guys, drank a bunch of whiskey. That was fun.
Always.
Yeah, gonna play some Warhammer this coming weekend. I don't know with who yet, but I'm just going to manifest it into existence because I haven't played for like 2 weeks, and I've got a whole bunch of knights that are almost all that have a fair amount of paint on them, so I want to play them. Damn it! Yeah, a Seal Punter, just about anywhere.
Nice. And you can follow the podcast anywhere at Essential Scares. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And in the links in all of our bios, we have a link not only to our other social medias, but also to our Discord, where we're hanging out all the time, talking about movies, music, games, hobbying, whatever you want to talk about. We want to talk about it with you. So if you're interested, join on up and let's chat. We have, for example, several people in the server who have seen Scream 6, and everybody's held back on discussion. So maybe you could be the one that brings it up. If you ever have any suggestions for us for franchises or movies that we should cover, feel free to DM us or put it in the server. We are more than happy to take requests. Some of the most enjoyable movies that we've watched have been requests, and you could be next on that list.
What a film.
Seriously.
What Diner is so good.
But that is it for this week. Thank you to everybody for listening and for watching. You're the best. If you liked the show, give us a rating, a subscribe, a review, a thumbs up, whatever you like to do on the service that you like to consume us on. If you're not already following us, please do. Next week, we're starting a new franchise because, as you notice, there's only 2 Alien vs. Predator movies. It was Alan's pick next. We're going to finish up one that we've already started, A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is a big one. So we've got a couple of really solid weeks here, including the remake.
No, this is going to be sick.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this at the party.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you were actually right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen.
Maybe a little far gone, though.
Yeah, I was partying. Okay.
But as a heads up to everybody, we will not be covering Freddy vs. Jason at this time. And we will instead be covering that as part of the Friday the 13th franchise when we get to that point.
It is the best Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah, thank you to Alan and Bobby for being on the show with me this week. I have been your host, Corbin, and this has been Essential Scares.
Play that breakdown, baby.